rolling?
Yep.
Nice, man. Let's go put some socks on. This isn't an OnlyFans.
I mean, your podcast needs to start making money, so...
I know, so you're saying I should leave the feet out. Let the record show that Dalton said I should leave my feet out for this podcast so we can make some more money. Because we're making zero money on this right now, but this is child-friendly programming, so it's not going to happen. Get me comfy.
Oh.
You just love the crack of a can, eh?
It's going to hit me like...
What's that about? Yeah, mid-pod.
Mid-pod?
Yeah, it's going to hit you when we're already halfway done and all the good stuff's already said. All right, man. So let's get this started. We are on episode 4 of the True Potential podcast, and we are sitting in Cleveland, Ohio.
The land.
The land. At my really, really good friend's house. They were lucky enough, or we were lucky enough, that they let us use one of my favorite rooms that they have as a place to do our pod. And it's fitting, too, because we're going to talk about environment today and how important that is to success in anything. But first, let's talk to the viewers a little bit about what we did yesterday.
Before we even get into that, at what point does this podcast also become partly mine?
Oh,
Like we're 4 episodes in. Like if this podcast gets bought at some point by Spotify or a bigger company.
Oh my gosh.
I want some IP on this.
We're talking contract. We're in contract talks already. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you've brought that much value to, things just yet.
All right, I'm out.
We'll see. I'm out. Yeah, I'm leaving. I was actually talking to Dave Portnoy, the other day, and he was thinking we could get on with Bustin' with the Boys. We should go on some other podcasts, us, right?
Okay.
So if we do a nice round of Huberman, Bustin' with the Boys, Modern Wisdom, and then, they're happy with us, we can stay as co-hosts, and then maybe we can sell.
All right.
Maybe we can sell some.
As long as I'm in consideration.
Yeah, you're in consideration.
We're getting close to episode 5, which, like I said, most podcasts fail before episode 5. So
right. So I'm holding on to you until episode 5.
Then you're just going to ditch
and then I'm
me.
going on my own. I'm just going to take that ship all by myself.
You know what, dude? That's what I'm all about. I'm just about getting people over that hump and then just letting them do their thing and fly away into the
night.
Yeah.
Realistically, man, you're a part of this podcast. I think we've talked about this. I don't know that the energy would be as good without you. So you're a part of it as long as you want to be. We have a lot of fun.
I respect.
And that's why we had a lot of fun this weekend, right? So getting back to where we were and talking about environment just as a little precursor to our topic, we went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio yesterday. Yeah.
That was cool.
What were your first thoughts, initial thoughts of everything?
America loves football.
Yep.
And I love it. I love football. It's been something that's been a big part of my life for a long, long time.
Yep.
I'd never been to the Hall of Fame. I didn't really have any expectations going in other than I was just excited to experience it. I think we went on a really cool day. It was the day that they were enshrinement day, basically, where they were bringing in 2025's class.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I think just the energy and the respect that the players that were there and the people that were there have for the game itself was cool to see. As someone who played football and always have been a part of the game, so that was something that stood out to me. And then it's just a ton of fun because they just love football so much.
Yeah,
There's fans from, most teams of the players that were getting inducted. So, you had Chargers fans, you had Vikings fans, you had Green Bay fans. It was cool to see, all of them kind of there just to show their love for their team and the players and the game, which is cool.
Yeah. I love the NFL's fandom. I you know me, I'm a big CFL fan. I actually snuck in there yesterday wearing this hat.
Go Cats.
Tie Cat hat because they were playing
Oski
yesterday.
Wee Wee.
So I was wearing that all around.
Oski Wawa.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. We're back. You know it now. I snuck in a CFL hat to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which I was happy about because I'm a really big CFL fan. And I think CFL fans also have they go hard for their team, which I appreciate. But it was nice to see NFL fans because again in Canada, NFL fans are different, right? They're spread out. It was nice to see pockets of big NFL fans wearing Jared Allen hair and wearing cheese heads, even though I know you didn't love that. Seeing the Green Bay teams, but It's fantastic, dude. And I love this about sports. I love this about American sports. I think they are diehards. And I think passion for something is important. You have to be passionate about something in your life. And sports brings people together in an amazing way that I think is rarely ever like duplicated in other things, right? So like when you sit inside of a football stadium, it's immaculate. The experience is like amazing. It's like it sends chills down your body, right? Like, so I've been to the Browns game. It's fantastic. Obviously, the Ticats can get bumping sometimes too when we're playing well as well, which I really appreciate about Hamilton. But yeah, it's just different in an NFL stadium when it's like, what is it, 28,000 plus, 30,000 plus? It's crazy.
Easy.
So
yeah, and it was just fun because like that brings me back a lot. Like there's something about sports that just brings me back to like my childhood and like when all it mattered was like to just be playing sports and having fun and there wasn't too much else you had to worry about. And so it's kind of cool to like go into those environments and just like have a good time. Like we were messing around on like the field, like playing different games that they had out there for mostly for kids, but we were having fun with that. And it just brings that back, which is cool because I think, you know, a lot of my life, our lives, now we have more responsibilities. We're doing things. We're trying to run businesses. We're trying to get the most out of our lives. I think sometimes you forget about having fun and connecting to that part of yourself. And that's something that I've been really trying hard to do lately in my life. And like, you've helped me a lot with that. So like being able to go there and just like mess around and also like have these like flashbacks of memories that, you know, I had playing sports and playing football was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you make a great point. Like, we just played, like, a lot of stuff was for kids and stuff, but it was cool to watch adults dress up and cheer. And, again, that's what sports kind of does to people. It turns them into children again, which I find is amazing. So, it was, and just overall, the experience, like, I would recommend to anybody that loves football.
Yeah, if you're a big football person.
Yeah, I think going on Enshrinement Day was especially amazing because there's just a lot of stuff going on. Shout out to Jared Allen. We thought that was, like, one of the most impressive speeches I've ever listened to.
If you guys... I don't even care if you don't like football. If you just want to hear like a speech that just shows why someone is the best of the best at what they do.
Yep.
And what was so cool about his speech is like it was never about like how good he was. It was about the team that was around him. It was about the experiences that he had. It was about like, you know, working hard and respect and failure and like all of these aspects, family that you don't really, you think that these guys are thinking all about themselves, but like a big part of the reason why they are where they are is their environment and the people they're surrounded by and the help that they've gotten along the way. Is there like a baseline level of like talent and skill and work ethic that they have to have, of course, and probably beyond what the average has, but it always comes down to those things of like, you know, the pursuit of greatness and the things that you're willing to do. He talked about fear, like having this healthy fear. He talked about his teammates, the environment, the people around him. It's like it always comes down to that. If you look at all of the people that are of like the top of the top with having success, like someone like Jared Allen, who's a Hall of Famer, it's like the principles, a lot of them very much remain the same. And it's a lot of what he talked about in that speech. So I think it's a great speech. If you guys should just search it on YouTube and watch it because it's cool.
Highly recommend. It was, we were getting chills. You even said that.
Yeah, I was fired up.
I've never been more attentive just kind of watching somebody talking. He also wore cowboy hats, which was dope. So
yeah, he also has like sick flow.
Yeah, he does have a sick flow. He has a sick vibe. It was great. I think all the inductees talked about the importance of teammates. And then going back to like environment, I think this is where a franchise and a coach and a coaching staff and the players, you know, the environment kind of trickles down. It's what you create as a group. It's the culture that you have, right? And if you don't pick players and teammates and coaches with the same kind of mindset, it's hard to foster a culture that is conducive to success. And you can't build an environment that's conducive to success if we're not all working toward one common goal, thinking about each other and the bigger goal rather than ourselves. And kind of he said that, like all the best teams that he was on, that's what it was all about. So yeah, super impressive. Pro Football Hall of Fame was super impressive. It was huge. It's a village now, which again we were told like this has grown in the last little bit. There's a whole stadium there, which is incredible. It wasn't hard to get to from Cleveland, like 40 minutes. We saw Boltman as well.
Bolt up.
I was a Chargers fan for the day, which was awesome. That's one of my favorite videos when I like jumped in the Chargers. You wearing the right colors? Yeah, you can come in this photo. Okay, great. What's up? I'm a Chargers fan. Let's do this. I have no ties to NFL teams. I'm just like an NFL fan, so I just had to impersonate for the day. But it was super fun, and they were very welcoming. And action, we're back. Sorry, I had to turn off my friend's fan because I was like, this is gonna like wreck the audio for this pod. Like we can't have the whole pod, and there's like a little fan in the background. Like so, good intro. Hopefully you can't hear it, but this is the thing though. When you're in a new environment, right? It throws you off a little bit.
We call that a segue.
That's a good segue, right?
Yep.
I will say one thing about a new environment and getting good at handling new environments is adaptability. And like, again, from a team standpoint and like a support standpoint, I find when you have others with you, like when we went yesterday, like I had so much more of a better day because you were there and we were doing things together and we were like both getting each other excited about stuff and we mic'd up and did all that stuff, right? Like, again, we were able to adapt to a new environment and have so much fun in a new environment. And I have to shout this out because we had so many kind people come up to us and like we got given tickets to the enshrinement. We got given tickets to go to the museum, which was crazy from Detroit fans. So they're really nice, you Detroit fans. But this is the thing, like, when you're around the right energy, when you're in a new environment and you kind of keep that energy and you're just, pleasant to be around and you're having fun, people kind of gravitate towards that, I think. And we kind of showed that yesterday. But yeah, so now we're in the new environment here with no fans. So this is good. So we can roll. So what do you want to talk about today as far as environment? Like I have a few things I want to get through, but like when I brought that topic up to you, I think it was last week, what are some things that came up in your brain?
Yeah, I think the things that I look at it is like what you're referring to is like when you go to a new environment and how that can impact you, both positively and probably some negatives or things you have to work through when you're going to a new environment, like adapting to it.
Yep.
And then the other thing is creating an environment that is conducive to the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because a big thing that I think a lot of is people think these environments happen by chance, but that's not the case. So when you talk about even what we were talking about with Jared Allen, or we talk about, from a business standpoint, what we try to do at the movement, it's like those environments aren't by accident. They're like intentionally designed to pull certain things out of people.
For sure.
And you yourself, even if you're not running a business or you're not on a team, can create an environment that is conducive to pulling out the things that you want to get out of your life or the goals that you want to accomplish or the things that you're working on. And that doesn't happen by accident. That happens by intentionally creating the environment.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point about intention, and I'll use this trip as a great example because we kind of are a traveling environment, you and I, right now, right? Like we came in the car together, we brought a bunch of drinks, and we brought, some electrolyte mixes, and we brought protein, and we did all this stuff, or at least I did, to make sure that I was like set up for the weekend, so I can make sure I'm following, along with my health goals, my habits that I've established. And if we didn't, weren't able to bring it, we just went and found it. And because this is a good point, right, that we have to kind of make, because this is ultimately what some of this conversation is always about, is our health and wellness, and how can we, take that with us. I think people struggle with traveling and adapting to like what they're eating and that kind of thing. But if you understand what your main goals are and you understand what you kind of have to bring or prepare for, you just do. Like we brought all this podcast stuff. We knew we wanted to do this. We had a plan in advance. You got to run in today, right? And I was biking with you, and we set up all of these opportunities and let people know in advance, things that were important to us. And because, they're great people, my friends are awesome, they're like, yeah, do anything you need. Like, you got to go for a run? That's awesome. We support that. And like, you guys are going to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Amazing. And like, then they make their environment conducive to us as well. And then we're collaborating and we're working together. But again, like things that are important for you, you have to set up your own environment and you have to kind of take that with you sometimes. And again, that makes adapting easier. That removes stress. Have you been stressed this whole weekend? I haven't. I've just been rolling.
No, I haven't.
Straight source all weekend. It's
source,
been amazing.
bro.
Yeah, absolute source. So it's good, right? Like I think environment can travel, even if you're in a different one. You are ultimately somewhat of your environment. You create it.
Yeah, and I think that it's hard, and for people who struggle with that, I think for a long time I struggled with that as well, until I realized that like it was very important for me to keep certain parts of my life going when I was traveling or going to visit people.
Yeah.
Because it was very important to me. So before, like years ago, and not even that long ago, probably like 3 years ago, that would be a hard thing for me. Like I probably wouldn't have prepared the way that I would prepare now.
Yeah.
And it's become so important to me that I don't want that to stop, that I bring parts of those things to the environments that I'm going to so that I can continue on the path that I want.
Yeah.
Solely because it's important to me and it makes me feel really good. And I think sometimes we as individuals like think that it's like selfish or that like, and it's to a degree, like if I'm coming to a place, I'm not going to like spend the whole time training, but there's certain aspects that like need to happen for me that I will just make happen because it makes myself better. And I think that's okay. And I think when you travel or you're going away, it's very easy to just like use that as a way to kind of, it's like almost like a cop out, like, oh, I'm going away, I'm just going to go off the rails this weekend.
Sure.
But you can create that very easily if you commit to it.
I think a vacation looks like a lot of different things for a lot of different people, and it can look like whatever you want. I think one thing that maybe people won't consider when they think of environment, because they'll think physical space, is the human beings around you is part of your environment, right? Whether you're at work, whether you're at home, again, whether you're visiting people. And so if you don't, again, communicate with those people or have the right people in your life, like I think I'm lucky to have, then it's hard to develop an environment that's actually supportive and again, conducive to your success and just, keeps good energy flow. And you can feel more selfish than you really need to, because I think, I want people when they come visit me or when they're spending time with me to have their own fun, right? It doesn't always need to be about me. Right. I think we often can forget that, like people, should be pursuing whatever they're pursuing, and it shouldn't just stop because of, me. And I kind of would expect the same things. And the other thing is too, like my friends now have an 8-month-old, right? And that is like a total adjustment from, what we used to experience. They didn't have a child before, but they do such a great job at keeping his schedule and then, welcoming me here and making sure I'm good at the same time. And then we have sometimes where they're taking care of him and we're doing other things. Like we went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and it was all good. But then, they got a babysitter last night, so that was great. Or they got like Justin's like mom, which was great last night. So we could all go out and have fun, and then we come back like again. But this was because we had this, you didn't know this, but we had this conversation like a week ago. What do you want to do? What's the timelines? We just need structure. Right? And we can have a lot of fun within that structure, and we can do a lot of things, and we can welcome in something different to that. And then we get to spend time with their son, who I love. Like, he's amazing. And like, it's just a beautiful experience. And it's this new evolution of this environment that I love. Right? And I have to say this because I love the house that we're currently sitting in, and I've had so many great memories here, but they let me know that they're moving too, which is crazy to me because, I have to say goodbye to this house that I'm sitting in. And I've actually had like, I don't know, what has it been, 7 years of memories in this place. You heard of a lot of them this weekend, and so like I got to say goodbye to that this weekend. So, and go on to a new environment that is going to be new memories and new experiences. Which is cool, but also, kind of sad, right? It's a catch-22. So, environment is amazing. Enjoy it while you have it. Enjoy the experiences. Be present, but it's going to change, and you have to adapt. You have to evolve, and I don't know. I'm getting sentimental over here.
You gonna cry?
I don't know if I'm gonna cry, but like I love these friends, like Amanda and Justin. Like you've experienced it. Mm-hmm. They're just the most kind people, and they've just always supported me so hard through my whole entire life. Amanda and I have been friends since elementary school, and then she married this absolute gentleman, kind of gentleman, but like charming motherfucker that's like so kind too, and they've just developed this huge life here, and she moved all the way down here, and it's just been incredible to watch her grow here, watch their family grow now here, be a part of it, and get to experience the 2016 Cavaliers championship parade, and you go to Browns games and Cavs games and do 30th birthday parties and citizenship parties when she got her American citizenship. And yeah, dude, it's a wonderful thing I have with these people. I cherish them. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to this environment, this house, these people. But segueing back to environment, and like, have you ever been a part of maybe a negative environment that you didn't maybe realize at the time, or maybe you've been a part of an environment that like wasn't actually fulfilling you or wasn't actually conducive to your success? Do you have any of those circumstances? I think that's one that would be important.
It's a good question. I can't say that there's been an environment where it's been so negative that it's like, I can't believe that I'm here, like type thing.
Yeah.
But what I've realized, I think now being in environments that are very aligned with like me, like when I look back, I remember times where it's like I was in environments and around people who were great people but weren't on the same pursuits as I was, and it wasn't that they were bad people or there was anything negative about what they were doing, but it would not align necessarily with like how I was approaching my life at that time. And I think this is a big challenge, like as you transition from being older, where like you go from high school to university to pursuing like your career and your adult life. You meet a lot of people that are awesome and that serve you at that time, but then like as you evolve as a person and your goals start to change, if those other people's don't necessarily change the same way that yours are changing, it can really keep you stuck if you don't remove those at times. And so there's people and places and environments that I would spend time in a lot when I was in university, that I no longer will spend time there or as much time there as I do now, because it's not necessarily keeping me on track with a lot of the goals that the things and the goals that I have in my life, right now. And it's hard to, when you're in those environments, overcome some of the things that might not be as conducive to your life, right? So it's like, and it's not like nothing crazy, but it's like staying up really late, drinking, going out to eat, like, and not that those things are necessarily bad, but like for me, when I want to kind of create my own life and operate at the level that I want to operate with training and growing the business and like what really brings me fulfillment, it's like those things were not conducive with like what I was pursuing.
Yeah.
And I had to remove myself from them, because a lot of people think that like it's just the self-will and discipline. It's not. It's like you can't overcome that all the time. And so the best thing I could do was be more intentional with the environment and the people that I was surrounding myself with consistently. And it's not that those people were bad. It's just like it just wasn't what I was doing at the time.
Totally. I think intention's a great word. You have to do a lot of things with intention. And I don't think intention is hard. Like I think people assume, packing to go to a place and thinking about, packing your vitamins and your protein and all this stuff is like a lot, but it's what you do when you become this new version of yourself and this stuff's important to you. It's just second nature. Like it becomes a priority. And what you're talking about sounds like, some of those early years where you're not sure what's a priority, right? You're not sure exactly what you want to pursue.
Yeah, you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but some things kind of, get you excited, they get you amped up, and you're like, oh, I want to do this. And it's like, I wish I had more people around me to do this. That's the hardest part. I remember those days. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I want to do this specific thing. And it's like, you got to dip your toe and kind of say, okay, I'm going to put myself in these new communities and environments so I can learn from others, see if I love something. And then, you will meet more people that are aligned on your path, right? Because they will do some of those things. If you watch some of the people maybe that you admire, you want to be around, they do all these things. That's they have their priorities, and they set up their environment to be, congruent. I was going to say congruent instead of conducive because we use it like 17 times. Congruent. So with like what they're pursuing, because it's important, right?
And I think what kills people a lot and makes them, like, for me anyway, I shouldn't say people because I don't really know, but like I think what ends up really making people feel bad is when they don't do what they really want to do. Yeah. So like something that would really kill me is like I love to get up early on a Sunday and do a long run and do a hard workout. And that brings me a lot of joy, a lot of fulfillment. It helps me pursue the goals that I'm having right now.
Yeah.
And when I would go against that because I was in a different environment and I really didn't want to go out, be up late, maybe eating and drinking things that I didn't want to do, but I did it anyway. That feeling sucks when you wake up the next day and you're like, I'm not doing what I want to do. And I'm not saying don't go out with your friends and don't have fun, but like when you fight with yourself in that way, that feeling is not good. When I do the opposite and I lean into those things where I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to go out, I'm going to stay and I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my workout. That's the best I feel. It's like you need more of that.
Buddy, like I think a lot of the turmoil internally that we have, this like feeling of like guilt and shame is sometimes at ourselves for just like disappointing ourselves. Like it's just like, bro, you didn't show up for yourself today. You didn't do what you said you wanted to do. Like you're hurting your chances of having success in this thing because you're not putting the time in. And it's like you don't realize that in the moment because you just kind of make these sacrifices the wrong way. And it's like, or you like sacrifice for others. And then it's like, damn, I didn't do that thing I wanted to do, man. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not set up for success to do this.
Yeah.
Now I'm anxious. Now I'm scared about doing this speech, or I'm scared about doing this run because I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for the thing I told myself was important to prepare for. And again, people make this such a big deal, but it's like, it's not hard to actually, as far as health too, like, and just movement, it's not hard to implement that into your day to day when you go away and you do these things. If it's a priority for you, you'll find options to do it. We didn't go for a lift today, but we fit in a run, right, for you, which is great. And I was biking. And again, I was biking because like, my foot was like really sore from yesterday, but I was like, I want to move too. I didn't, need to do 16K because it's not part of my program. But I had fun biking with you and we got some movement in and I feel wonderful. Like I feel amazing going into my week. I don't feel off track, right? I also didn't just go crazy on eating shit food the last 3 days, right? I ate what I wanted to eat. I enjoyed myself. I had a little bit of a vacation. And then we ate some good food too. But again, people just go off the deep end thinking like, if I just have this, if I work hard all week and I just have a bender every weekend, I'm just going to be super excited. When I say bender, I don't mean alcohol. I mean like just eating poorly and sleeping in and doing like breaking all your habits. You don't need to break all your habits to feel like happy and comfort and all these things. You need to actually maintain some of the habits that are important. You need to push hard on the things that are still important to you and take rest as needed, right? But like this, like go all gas and no breaks like for a long period of time and then just like take a week off and just blow it all up doesn't work. It's not sustainable. That's actually what burnout is. So I think it's just it's ebbs and flows as you go, right? And traveling and changing environments is kind of an ebb and a flow in itself. So it's important.
Yeah, and even bringing it back to not even just traveling, just like in real life when people are trying to make these changes, right? It's like those little things where you don't stick. Like you lie to yourself about the things that you're going to do. Like, oh, I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to go run. And then you don't do that. Or I'm going to stick to this meal, or this meal plan. And then you don't do that. Like that really impacts you. And then what people end up doing is they feel really bad. And like, I've been there with that.
Yeah.
And then you start telling yourself that like, well, I'm not someone who can be consistent. I'm not someone who can run. I'm not someone who can strength train. And then you start telling yourself these stories of like, oh, I'm not capable enough, when that's not the truth. You're just feeling like really bad about the fact that you didn't commit to the thing you told yourself you would do.
Yeah.
And I think the importance of committing to those things in creating an environment that helps to fulfill on those things is that when you actually start stacking those in the right direction. So for me this weekend, like we're talking about, it's like when I'm actually still getting in my workouts and I'm still eating relatively well on track with what I would be doing and I'm still getting decent sleep and I'm doing all those things, it's like that's just building me up to like keep me on the momentum of like what I want to do. The same thing happens when like you start actually being like, okay, I'm going to wake up and work out, and then you start building this proof of like, well, I am this person. I can be this person that keeps doing these things.
Yeah.
And you start building this consistency, and then you start building your environment out to be more conducive of fulfilling on that. It's like, okay, well, now I'm going to make sure that I don't have junk food in my house because that's not good for my environment. I'm going to make sure that I set up my alarm so that it wakes me up and my phone's out of my room so I get up at 5 a.m. I'm going to actually start to create my day so that I have time to get out in the middle of the day for a walk. Like you start actually building this environment that fulfills on what you want to do.
It's funny you mentioned the phone and you mentioned food in the house because like obviously I've eaten differently than I eat at home to a degree, right? Like I've eaten a little more junk food than I do at home. And then also I was scrolling my phone in bed last night because I don't usually do that at all. I sleep without my phone in my room.
Sending me reels.
And sending you reels late at night. Hey man, are you up? Like realistically, all that stuff doesn't just break everything, right? Like people are so all or nothing, right? And all the clients that try to be all or nothing, all the people that I have that I know that try to do all or nothing, eventually it breaks and you fall right off. Just because I had my phone in my room last night and I was sending reels to Dalton doesn't mean I'm going to go back home and keep sending reels to Dalton late at night. I'm going back to bed at the right time and I'm chilling. It's all good. And same thing for food. Just because I had some junk food this weekend doesn't mean I'm off track on anything that I want to accomplish, and doesn't mean I have to throw it all back in my house when I get home. Like I enjoy having it when I get to have it outside, right? Like I don't really eat bagels, but we had a sick bagel today at a great shop, New Bagel.
I eat a lot of bagels.
Yeah, so. You're a big bagel guy?
Yeah.
Well, again, but what's the goal, right? If you're like training as hard as you do, like you need the carbohydrates. And this is where, again, if you don't understand how food works in regards to what you're training for, what your caloric needs are, you need to talk to someone about that. Right here, this guy. Like realistically, because it's important to understand those things. We can work around these things, understanding that yesterday or Friday we moved you into a new place, right? Crazy. So we spent the whole day moving you, and then we drove, and then the next day we walked all friggin' day, right? And then today we went for a run and we did the bike. So like, yeah, we can have a little bit of carbohydrate. I think actually we need lots.
Yeah.
Like we do. And we need protein. But again, you had a conversation after the bike ride and you're like, hey man, we've been down on the protein probably this weekend, because we just haven't eaten as much, given that foods are different here, etc. And it's like, so we went and got protein. It's all good. We just made a plan to get protein in. And that's all it comes down to. It's really not difficult, and they sell it everywhere. So spend the money. But hey, when Zins cost less than a protein shake, that's kind of problematic, isn't
Dude,
it?
yeah.
Not to shout that out, guys.
America.
We have an issue, here.
Yeah, a tin of Skull is less than
Jeez, man.
a protein drink.
This is no different than, it's not a U.S. Canada thing. This is no different than Canada. Like,
Yeah.
healthy food is somewhat difficult to buy, and it's a lot less affordable. Right, McDonald's is a lot more affordable than going on somewhere else, and this is why it's difficult for people. So,
like, so from your perspective, like environment, like, was there, in terms of like a negative environment or even like a positive environment, like what are some things that maybe have led to an environment you've created for yourself to drive success, or is there an environment that has negatively impacted you, and there's some things that stand out to you as to why?
Yeah, I think if I look back to environments that I spent a lot of time in that were maybe challenging, I think that transition through school is really tough when you start living with new people outside of your parents, and really adapting to human beings that way is tough. And then finding the right people to like kind of room with for the next however many years. Like I had good roommates. Like we didn't always get along because it's impossible to, but we did a pretty good job. But then going into work, man, like I remember there's a lot of times where work environments can be not
negative.
Great, and they can be amazing, and then work is this beautiful thing. So I've been in both. I think you have to, at a certain point, if you're in a negative environment, you have to at a certain point realize that you are, and then you have to take slow steps to changing it, and that won't always be staying and trying to fix it. There is a time where cutting ties with that environment is necessary, and I think people maybe stay in them too long. Mm-hmm. But you can tell it if it's like soul sucking and you're just energy is just done every day and you just are constantly battling with people that won't meet you halfway on things. It's just really no point in staying there. So I've just had little bits and pieces of that at times, but it's not like anything in particular. But it's like you segue, you move to other environments, you have conversations with bosses to kind of move teams or see what the general goal progression is for you. But yeah, you shouldn't stay in environments that aren't conducive to your success or others, and then good energy too, because it's so soul sucking. Work is 40 plus hours a week depending on what you do. And like if you spend 40 hours of your life in somewhere that's negative, like you're not going to have a fun life. No. You're just going to be stressed no matter how much money you're making. And at that point, the money's not worth it. So yeah, not anything specific. But I think the other thing too, not to say that you should just jump ship, like sometimes you have to push through environments too, right? And I think as a business owner now, but as a person that ran other people's businesses before, you can change an environment and you can galvanize people to be better. And that comes through a lot of tough conversations that are honest, but compassionate. And when you combine both those things, and I think a lot of people that have been on my teams would say this, you can actually create something, new and beautiful and a little more accountable, where everybody kind of keeps each other accountable in a positive way, and you can just kind of you all grow together actually. Mm-hmm. You become better professionals and better humans, and I think I was able to do that at a few places when I had teams, so I'm proud of that. But it was not without really tough conversations, hard times, losing people from the team, like moving on from people from the team. That happens. That's going to happen. It's par for the course. Not everybody's meant to work together forever, right? So
yeah, and it's like looking at yourself too. It's like, what are you bringing to the environment?
Yeah.
And
well, that's not to discount that, right?
No, and like leading by example is the best way to change environment, even if it's a negative environment. It's Absolutely. Like, and then there's a certain tipping point where it's like, okay, well, I've done everything I possibly can. Now I need to leave. But a lot of times it's like, well, what can you do to try to inspire that environment as well?
So this is important too. I think you can get easily influenced, and we've kind of alluded to it, influenced by an environment that's negative, mm-hmm. or just little things. And I think this is where, as a human being, your value system is important. Knowing your values. Because even if something is happening around you in an environment and you're not sure if you should jump on this ship or kind of follow these people or kind of where you sit, if you just look internally at your own values, even if it's maybe against what the company's doing or whatever, like you just got to follow your values. Because we talked about that guilt, that shame. Like whenever I'm in my own good values and I'm like looking at myself and saying you did the right thing for you or the right thing that you believe in, I've never been unhappy with myself. I've never left. I might have, some people know this, but I ended up getting let go in the pandemic in different times, and I realized like how much of a number you can become at a business, or just like how things can change. And quite frankly, when you realize that you can become a number, it's kind of empowering, because you go, I can create anything with my life. Like if something ends, I can restart. That like it just creates that in you. It's just like this switch that flips. And then the other thing is, you realize that if I'm not, following my own values, what's the point? Because if I follow someone else, if I'm constantly being a follower and I'm just going into places I don't want to be, or I'm gossiping here, or I'm not doing like when I feel like I should be doing, you're going to leave when something ends, or when something happens, and you're going to go, shit, I wasn't even myself in this. I wasn't even authentic, genuine. I really, did somebody, wrong. He did something wrong here, or didn't live up to what I wanted to there. So yeah, just be you, stay within your value system, no matter what, even in those hard moments, even if things might end, even if, you might get fired, you might like whatever, like just do it, because you will still love yourself on the other side, and you'll still be proud of yourself on the other side, and you can take that energy into something awesome. Right? So that's huge. But yeah, it's easy to get, fall into the trap of influence, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's cliche, but like it was like, bring it back to Jared Allen's speech. Like he talked about the why being the most important thing. And I think when you think about environment and what environments you want to be a part of and what environments you want to create, it has to start with the why for you and your standards for you. And I think a lot of people are working on getting clear on those things, and it's something that you have to put a lot of intentional, that's a big word today, but a lot of intentional effort, like take the time to think about it. Like that's something that I did for a long time. Like I'm talking, it took me like 4 or 5 months to establish like what that was for me. And that was like work, like sitting down and going through the process, sitting down and going through different techniques of establishing what my why is, what are my values, what are my standards, how do I want to show up? Like that's work. But
totally,
when you figure that all out, it makes all of this other stuff we're talking about so much easier, because that's your filtering system. And it's like, if those environments are not leading you down that path and you can't do anything about it, you have to remove yourself, or you don't even go there. If you aren't holding yourself to those standards and you're reflecting on why things aren't going well, and you're not holding yourself to those standards and those whys, you need to reevaluate what you're doing on a daily basis.
1,000%.
That's why it's so important, and that's why I encourage people to do the work to figure that out, because once you do that, all of this becomes easier to approach it. It doesn't make it easier, because this is hard, but it makes it easier to navigate.
Yeah, I think you're saying something that's really valuable, like the filtering system. I don't think people, maybe I just forget that I've done this in the past, but it's like I have a spreadsheet with all of my most important things, like loyalty, accountability, compassion, drive, passion. Like I have these, words that represent my life. I have, an idea of what I want to pursue in life, and that's my why. Like you said, like I have that written out in a spreadsheet, and I review it kind of every like 3-4 months just to remind myself. And again, when you get off track, if you don't have that thing to come back to, and it can evolve, how do you decide? How do you make decisions? No wonder people are in conflict. They don't know what they actually want, but you have to do the work. And again, there's a reason that, companies ask you for your, personality. They do personality quizzes and tests, right? Like it's not just for fun. It's to see, how do you work with this? What can we work on? And we've all been a part of that. Because we're not sitting here saying that like we weren't perfect in every environment, and we weren't, we're negative sometimes and positive other times. And, I've never been a perfect person. But it's like evolution comes from awareness. You evolve only if you're aware of what you need to evolve on. So if you haven't established that somewhere, you haven't written that down, you're not willing to do the work and kind of go introspective sometimes, and you don't have to do it all the time, you're never going to figure it out. And again, when you get you get into conflict, when emotion is really high, things like just understanding who you are, what your why is, can bring you back down. The anxiety goes away. Okay, this is actually an easy decision because I am this person. I'm going to follow this path. I will always follow this X path, right? It just solves it for you to a degree, and then you just take the repercussions.
It's easier to approach it. It's still hard to do.
It's way easier.
Doesn't make the decision easy, but it makes it more aligned with you.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's easy, but you'd be surprised when you make the right decision for yourself, how a circumstance where you thought it was going to be like turmoil and you're going to feel really gross, or you had a pit in your stomach, just goes away. Because I think that's just a signal to yourself sometimes, that pit in your stomach, that you need to make the right decision for you and like follow your authentic self. And if you don't, then that pit stays. But when you do, you're just like, oh, great, I actually feel okay. Perfect. I'm going to keep rolling. This sucks. This is hard, but like I don't feel shitty about myself. Where are we at?
We're like 30-ish plus minutes in.
Oh, damn, 30-ish plus minutes, eh?
Yeah.
We've been talking serious. We've been so serious.
Yeah. No, but I think it's important, and we work with a lot of clients, right? And a lot of people will ask me, like, because I try to be very open with like my journey in fitness and in business and share that experience, and solely because, one, it helps me a lot, like, work through it. But I know there's other people that are going through similar things that can take some of my experiences and my perspectives and apply it to their life. And the reason I know that is because I've taken people's experiences and perspectives on their journey and have added it to my life, and it's been very, very helpful. And I really try to show people, like, I'm just a dude like anyone else, but here are the things that, like, I've done over the years. And I just, it's hard sometimes to show people exactly how much time and effort and work it takes to create those things. And social media is great, but it's a snapshot. So you even see a lot of the things that, I have people, I'm posting about running, I'm posting about high rocks, I'm posting about working out. And, like, relative to me, it's like, I want to get better. But other people are looking at it like, wow, that's so great, right? That's way better. I can't believe how much this person's doing. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's been consistency for years and years and years, and a lot of hard work. And I try really hard to share that is what got me there. And it's not easy to share, but it's also not sexy to be like, hey, for 4 or 5 months, I literally wrote down my personal philosophy and my standards for my life in my journal every single day. Every single day I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Like, well, what did you do to get to where you are?
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about this before. I started my business with like 3 goals every quarter, and I just pursued those. And before that, I was listening to podcasts. I remember at my first like career job, because I was right out of school, I was struggling to get a job, right, and figure out where I wanted to go. And I remember, like, because I had to drive 40 minutes to Brantford for this job I had to stick with finally at a gym, I was like, I'm just going to listen to a podcast every day and be a better person. And again, it's not the way to look at it. Like, be negative towards yourself. But I was in a place where I was like, I got to figure this out and be better. And so I just started listening to podcasts just like this one, which is why I think this is important that we say these things and have these conversations. And I listened to lots of stuff, and I applied what fit for me to my life. And I tried to read all the books that got recommended to me from bosses to get better. And every time I had, something happen at work where I didn't have the right conversation with this person, or I didn't handle something right, I tried to reflect and do better. And again, I picked up enough of that stuff over time. And then, with enough work in other areas, I was able to develop skills. But you develop skills yourself. No one's going to do it for you, whether it's running, whether it's being a manager, whether it's running a business, whether it's getting better at marketing, whether it's selling a product, being a parent, right? Bring it back to life stuff. Like, you don't just start good at things. It takes time, and you have to want it, and you have to put in the work to develop it and have support. But I think people see some people on the other side of it sometimes, and they go, wow, how did you get there? And that's why we do this, to share that stuff.
Yeah, and I think I just get so fired up about it because I think everyone has so much more potential inside them, and they want it. Like, I have so many conversations with clients that I see on a daily basis where I can feel it. Like, I can feel that they want it so bad, and they have it. Like, they have it inside them just like you and I have it. And they're on the edge of, like, getting themselves out of that. And, like, then something happens where it's just like they immediately are going in the negative, and they're immediately like, I'm not capable of it. And it's sucks because I so badly can see that in them. And that's why I love to get to do what I do and share these thoughts and do all the things, because I know that people are just on the edge of that. And I watch it every day. I think about, like, our client experience manager, Lauren, at the Movement. It's been so amazing, dude, to watch her go from, like, telling these stories in her head that she can't run, to running a half marathon, and now trying to pursue running a faster half marathon, where she wrote herself off as being someone who could even run. And, like, the potential of her being able to get to where she is now, I've watched it flip in her mind, and how she views it and how she approaches it. And, like, that's not because she's some special person. It's just because she's been, like, consistently trying to get better. She's been consistently shifting her mind. She's been consistently setting her environment up to be successful to get those things. It's not that she's this special person. And everyone can access that. And that's what, like, fires me up the most about it, is, like, I know everyone can access it. It's just you have to put in the work. You have to get around the right people. You have to be consistent. And it's not the sexy thing to say, but
No, and you also have to believe. Like, belief, your unwavering belief is the most important thing. Like, I shared a post this week, something I wrote in school, you know, when I was briefly there, and it was the inflection point thing, where it was like this dip, right? Growth is this, like, not this linear thing, and your belief on the scale kind of dips, right? And then it rises back up as you grow more, and then you'll hit something will happen, your belief will dip, and then again there's an inflection point that sends you back up. But sometimes you don't feel that, and you don't find that inflection point, or you avoid it, or whatever it is. But like, there's this thing that's staring you in the face, and if you're avoiding it, nothing's going to change. The thing that's staring you in the face, that comes up every day or every week, and then you know that thing in the back of your head that goes, you need to do this, you need to fucking get up and do this, like, figure it out, stop avoiding this. That thing, that's what you need to, like, that's the chip you gotta eat, right? Like, you just need to fucking do it. I don't get too fired up, because I can get too fired up in these conversations.
Well, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. And like, I think, you know, to maybe wrap this up, kind of tidy it up a little bit. It's
Sure.
like, you know, it's hard, but like, it's hard for everyone, and you can do it. You just need to continue to show up and try different ways, try different options, get around the right people. The environment really makes a difference. If you get people in your corner that are supportive and are pushing you to do things, or are just doing the things that you want to be doing, and you're around those people, it's going to push you to do it more, right? So it's like, don't just give up on it if it doesn't work the first time. And you're also right. It's like that thing that is literally smacking you in the face every single day. Like, go to therapy, Dalton. Go to therapy. Address these things.
Yeah.
Go to therapy. It's like, nah, I'm just going to go run 100 miles. Nah, I'm just going to go lift weights.
Yeah, some of the stuff that's harder for other people is just easier for you.
Until you finally go, okay, well, now I have no other option. I have to go. And then you go and you start addressing those things, and those things improve.
Yeah, you have to face it head on. And again, like, you don't have to believe in yourself all the way through, but you have to believe that this is the right path to take, because it's staring you in the face. And again, people will come in and help you out, but you have to push through those dips.
And when you do that, as much as, like, you know, it's maybe whatever you believe in, it's like, when you do that, whether it's the universe, it's God, it's source, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's source, dog.
It's like,
universe.
When you do that, good things will start to happen, man. Like, you start to, like, put yourself in that position. You start to face those challenges head on. You start to go to different things. You find the right environment. It's like these doors just start opening that you don't even really realize that are there to support you. You meet the right people that are like, hey, you should sign up for that marathon. You meet the right people that are like, hey, you need to be a little bit more playful. Why don't you go to the Hall of Fame game and throw a ball around with kids and have fun?
Yeah.
It's like those things just start to happen when you open yourself up to that and you get on that path. So it's like, just keep trying to find it, man.
Yeah. I love it.
I think I'm done my energy drink now.
You're done your energy drink? That's perfect timing.
Not yet.
You get full energy? Oh, man, we're getting serious there. But, yo, this is serious. Like, I think that's the thing I have trouble with. Like, this is serious. At 33 years old, I know that if I keep doing this thing in my head where I play maybe the victim on certain things, or if I play the woe is me card, or I play the, oh, I'm maybe not good enough, or like I just sit back and I like tone myself down and I don't, for the sake of whatever I'm worried about, like the guilt, the shame, the, you know, fail, like whatever bullshit thing. If I do that, I'm going to run out of fucking time. And I'm just so tired of like that. Like, again, in the last year especially, I've just turned the knob the other way and said, fuck this, I'm just going for things that I love, that are important to me. I'm going to try to be me more and more. And then, like you said, synchronicity, right? Like, it's just things come up and you're like, how is this just happening and flowing? And it's because you're on the right fucking path. It's not a coincidence. This is where you're meant to be. Luck is a residue of design, or is residue of design, right? Like, I heard this quote, luck doesn't just happen to people. It's because you're in the right place, because you've been doing the work and you're ready for it. And it's like, here's your opportunity presented to you. Like, that is how things happen, right? Jared Allen, I was working hard. I kept my, you know, the main thing. I did all this stuff the right way. And then what? I get, you know, drafted. Then I get, you know, put on the Vikings, and they take a chance on me, and I have this like amazing part of my career. And then again, he has a dip, but he sounded like in Chicago. And then he comes back and finishes his career in Carolina. Like, it's not this perfect, linear, amazing thing, but it's like he had all these opportunities that came up because he maintained the consistency, pursuing greatness, what he wanted to do with football. And I don't know, maybe just sometimes people are like, you know, my job isn't this beautiful pursuit like football might be, but like your life is. So if the job's not a good fit, find another job. If something else isn't the right fit, like it doesn't have to be career as your focus. It could be family building as your focus. It could be like doing a side hustle as your focus. It could be like building a beautiful home and environment for your family as a focus. Like there's lots of focuses. Being a bit, amazing grandparent, depending on what time of your life is, right? Like that could be what drives you to, to get you to the gym, to pick up your grandchildren. There's so many options. But if you don't just like accept the work that's part of it and then just actually fucking enjoy the work, like relish in the work. Nothing about today was work, right, for you running, but like it seemed fun, man. We had a great time. We had a blast. I was on the bike, like enjoying myself because it was cool and breezy, and like I wasn't working hard, but I was filming you, and it was like fun, man. And we had fun doing all this stuff. This could be considered work, I guess, but it's not because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But we've created that, and like you can create that.
Yeah.
You create your environment.
Yeah,
you
for sure. Yeah, I'll leave with this. This is something that's really impacted me in the last year. We've talked about this, but for the listeners, it's like I took this from Phil Stutz, who's like a psychologist, therapist. There's three things that we just can't avoid in the world, and it's pain, it's uncertainty, and it's doing the work. That's it. It's like that's always going to be present, and I look at it that way, and I try my best to figure out like how do I navigate the pain, how do I navigate the uncertainty, and how do I keep just doing the work. And if you can focus on those things, no matter what comes up, build those strategies on how you manage it, you're probably going to have your life go in the direction that is going to give you a lot back.
1,000%.
And I think that's something that's really sat with me in the last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And I think it's true. I think it's very true principle of the world.
I agree.
That's it?
That's it, man. That's episode 4 from Cleveland, Ohio. First one on the road.
Yo, LBJ came back home.
LBJ came back home. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.